Hi, my name is Kevin Cubitt. I'm here with the Mechatronics program. We're going to go through the basics of a variable frequency drive and why this makes our lives a lot simpler. You can see I only have 3 panels here in use, and actually this guy over here, I'm only using it for the potentiometer. We'll get into that a little bit later. But a variable frequency drive replaces a lot of big components that otherwise we would have to use. For example, a manual starter, overload relays, cam switches, and all that. A variable frequency drive is going to really control almost every function that we have on this motor, and that goes from starting, stopping, to reverse, of course the cam switch. It also is going to control our frequency as well as also have built-in overload protection. So with that, like I said, we're getting rid of a lot of stuff. Now, since we got rid of so much stuff, there are a lot of parameters we can set on this guy. So there is actually quite a thick manual. This is the Omron Sys drive. It is appropriately sized to our 1/4 horsepower motor here, 3rd horsepower rather, I'm sorry about that. So we have it all wired up, good to go. Now as you can see, this has somewhat stock settings here. I've changed a few things here. Right now we're reading out in hertz, okay? So you can actually read out in either hertz or current, and actually that's how the current overload works. It does have an internal current detection circuit, so it can tell how much current is running through. So we'll leave it on hertz right now. We already have our lockout module off, our power supply's on, so we're going to go ahead and hit the run button. And right now we're in the run mode on the inverter. You'll notice our motor isn't spinning up. We do not have any hertz going to the motor. That is because we have our dial here which can control our frequency manually, which also in turn controls the motor speed here. So we're going to go ahead and turn this guy up a little bit, and right now we're at 18.3 hertz. So you have a little bit of speed on there, but not the maximum speed. Now this is a 4-pole motor, so at 60 hertz we should be turning about 1800 RPM. So we're below half of our motor capacity here. So let's go ahead and turn this guy all the way up, and we're going to go up to a maximum of 60 hertz. We obviously can't go above what is coming out of our power supply. So now that we're running at 60 hertz, you can see the display is reading out in hertz. Now, like I said earlier, you can go ahead and select the current and view the current. So I just changed the parameter there, and you can see we're running at full speed, and we have a 0.9 amp draw. So let's go ahead and change it back into hertz here. We're going to hit the menu button, and we're going to go from D002, which is a readout for amps, to D001, which is the readout for hertz. Let's go back to that guy, and let's turn this guy down. Alright, and we do have an error here. This is error 07. That's an over voltage error. So basically what's going on here is there are so many parameters on this thing that you can mess some stuff up sometimes by setting things up incorrectly. And actually I do think I know what's going on here. We're going to hit the reset button, and we're going to go ahead and reset that protection right there. And the stock soft stop and soft start have been changed on this VFD. So what we're going to do is we're going to go take a look and see what they're set at and see if that's why we got that error, because it looked like it was trying to stop a little too quickly there. So we're going to go back to our menu. We're going to go through quick parameter change, hit both green buttons, and as you can see the D is flashing. So we're going to go ahead over and check out our soft stop, soft start settings. So we're going to start with the F. Sorry about that. Let's go back in there. Let's go to the F, enter, 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 enter. F002 is the soft start function. So you can see our parameter here is set at 5 seconds, which is just not enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to quick change, alright, and we're going to up that to 10 actually, if I can. We'll go up to 9, and then we'll change it the conventional way, because I don't think the quick change allows you to do it that way. So you see 2 methods there. You can either just press and hold, or you can go through the quick change and basically type it in. We're going to set it back to the default, which is 10 seconds. And then we're going to go to the soft stop, and we're also going to check that as well and make sure that's also on the default setting. So we'll go up to F003. We're going to go into F003, and you can see we're also at 5 seconds. So that's most likely why we were getting that error code there. Let's go ahead and fix that and see if we can get back in business here. And also, before I go ahead and start it, I'm going to show you the F004. We already went through F002 and F003, soft start, soft stop, F004 is actually our direction control. So by setting that parameter, we can control the direction of the motor. So 12 is good. We'll go with 12. It's not default, but that's fine with me. So we're going to go back into our quick change here, and we're going to put the display back into Hertz. So we're going to go to D001, and that is the Hertz display. Let's hit enter here, and let's go ahead and go into the readout there. We'll go ahead and hit run, and we'll turn this guy up, and there we go. So we'll go all the way to 60, and we'll turn it back down and see if we get the same error or if it functions properly. So it's taking a little bit longer to start up here. We'll turn it back down, and there we go, no error. So that is fixed. Now, like I said, the F004 function does control the motor direction. We're not actually going to go over that. Actually, what I want to jump into is this potentiometer here. Now, in a factory setting, your VFD is going to be located right on the motor, but sometimes you need to control it much further away. So rather than run a bunch of wires to your VFD so that you can control this far away from the motor, you can run a control circuit to a potentiometer and locate this much further away from the motor than you would. And it's a safer setup there because you're not running that AC three-phase power all over the factory. So we're going to go ahead and change the parameter to accept a terminal input, which this is set up for. So we're going to go ahead and go into our quick change. We're going to go down to parameter A001. Now I do know what all these parameters are. They're located in the manual, so there are a lot more parameters that I'm going through. We're just going over the basics today. And we're going to go into our A001, and it's set at parameter 00, which is the stock setting for controlling on the face of the VFD. So we're going to set it to 01. And 01 is the setting for a terminal control, which we have our potentiometer set up for. So we're going to go into that. All right, we're set at 01. We're going to hit the run button, and nothing's happening. We'll go over to our potentiometer now, and now we're set up for remote control. We'll go ahead and turn this guy up and see if it starts up. And there we go, the motor go ahead and start for us. And now we have a remote control. There are also a lot more settings that you could go into, and you could explain this thing for hours. For example, going to the overload protection, and then you have constant torque and reduced torque. So there are a lot of inputs. You can take a VFD and you can set your motor up to run custom to your application. You'll also notice there's actually an Ethernet plug on the front of this guy. You can hook up a programmable logic controller in order to have that control the VFD rather than having to go up and press buttons, and so that makes it a little bit easier for an automated setup. But there you have the basics of a variable frequency drive. Again, my name is Kevin Cuba. I'm with the Mechatronics program, and I hope you enjoyed this video.